Hi guys, today we're back working on the Wagoneer. I think it's finally time to clean out the interior of this thing, assess the rust damage, and get to work. Alright, so since you last saw the Wagoneer, I've done a little bit of work to it. I tried getting the thing running reliably, but it is just severely against it. I think the timing chain is really badly worn out, because I cannot get this thing in time to save its life. I've gone through, I've checked, I've made sure that there were no vacuum leaks anywhere. I've hooked stuff up, unhooked it, tried cleaning the carburetor, changed all the fuel lines out. I just cannot make this thing run right. So it was the plan to swap it out anyway, but it was just convenient having it where I could drive it around the yard easily. Next thing I did, you might notice, it's got wheels on it and tires that aren't flat. Imagine that, right? So what happened is I bought an Avalanche that had these 16-inch bullet hole wheels on it, and it had a brand new set of tires, but the tires were about 3 inches smaller than factory, and so my speedo was way off. It kept shifting when I didn't want it to, so I ended up going on Facebook Marketplace and picking up a set of 2007 Silverado wheels and tires. Fit it just fine, fixed everything. Then I had these laying around, so I decided, well, it's the same bolt pattern. Maybe I can get them to fit on the Wagoneer. Well, that may be true, but the hub in the center is smaller for the Chevy than it is on these old school Dana 44s on the front of this thing. Now, it did fit on the AMC 20 rear, but I know eventually I'm going to take the 44 out of the older Wagoneer I have and put underneath this thing, so I'll have to open that one up. But what I did to machine out the center is I actually just took a router and I routed out the center hubs, and it worked really, really nice. They balanced out no problem, and they look like a factory machining job, and they fit really well. So I got wheels and tires on it that aren't flat. Next, pulled all the chrome trim off from around the doors, and for the most part it's alright, but here I found some really, really nasty rust underneath that chrome. Now where they've got it adhered on, that held water, and this is really badly, deeply pitted. So I don't know if that's something I'm going to clean up, try to fix, or try to find another door. I'm not sure yet. Like I said, we're going to be cleaning out the interior on this thing. And when I first got it, I pulled the carpet in the back seat out, because the carpet was literally just laying in there. It was house carpet that somebody had put in there. And of course the seats don't take anything to pull out of these. So I went ahead and pulled those out of the way and swept it out because it's pretty nasty. But I actually want to get the rest of it out. I want to get that front seat out. I want to get that carpet out. I want to get all these seat belts out. I'm going to get back here with a wire brush, clean all this rust out, vacuum it out, see how bad the rust really is, put some Duplicolor rust fix on the parts that aren't too terrible, and start cutting out the parts that need welded in. These seat bolts, or at least the ones that I've found so far, seem to be a 9/16, so I've just got a ratchet wrench on here. I soaked these things down with PB Blast ahead of time, let them sit for a while. If yours is anything like mine, it's going to be completely horribly rusted, but you might get lucky. Come on, let's go. Oh Jesus, I'm out of shape. Come on. Carpet may come with the seat. Let's go. This seat is actually pretty nice. I don't see any major rust on it. Even the feet look good and sturdy still. I think this thing just needs rewrapped and tossed back in. I still have to decide whether I'm putting this in or if I'm putting a set of buckets in. I did find where that plug goes to. It actually goes to the seat belt in there. To make some sense out of this, this thing was built in 1980. It actually has a seatbelt warning light. Crazy. Huh. Let's see how this goes. Probably not well. That was what I guessed was going to happen. But hey, at least it didn't snap off, it's just stuck. Got my long-handled ratchet, but just in case that doesn't work, I got my I'm not asking nicely bar. Well, the long-handled ratchet seems to be moving it, but I don't know if that nut on the back side is just spinning or not. Hopefully not. Oh, man. Trying really hard not to round these stupid Torx bits out, but I can't promise anything. Problem is they're what the back of the seat locks into. They sit down into a hole onto those latches, and so I don't really want to tear these bolts up because I got to reuse them. There we go. Now we're scooting. Now we're scooting. There we go. Oh yeah, freedom. Freedom. See what I mean? That's the latch that the seat latches into for the back seat. Let's actually step down to fit that in there. I really don't want to break that off. Bye bye. I think the way these seatbelts are covered up just pops off. I think. That sounded like something either came loose or broke. There we go. Yeah, there we are. Okay, looks like the retractor doesn't have to come off, but that does. And she's rusty. Oh, that's not good. Oh. I always have the option of making it liquid. That does not look like it's going to come out. Or this will even fit into it anymore. That's no fun. Round 2. Let's see how bad the driver's side is. Huh. The sides are already pumped up. So, how about you? Oh, that one's nice. Man, this has never happened in my life. I knew there had to be that bad one over there. There's had to be a bad one. Not in a million years. I think I'm gonna go straight for the asking nicely bar. I'm too fat and old for this. Okay. Let's see if I can snap this off, shall we? Oh yeah, that's gonna break something. I can tell. Question is, at the head of this bit, or is it my pry bar? And oh, I think it's gonna be the bolt. I'm spinning a lot. Wait, this thing moving? Holy crap. Ladies and gentlemen, this bolt is moving. I would show you how awful and rusty it was, but if you have any experience working on anything rusty in your life, you can imagine. Now just imagine that rustiest bolt you've ever seen that snapped in half every other time just came loose without much force. Because that's what's happening here today. We'll work this back and forth a little bit. And then I'm going to throw the Ugga on it. See if that little baby-sized impact can actually get this thing the rest of the way out of here. Here we go. Here's nothing. Hold on to your butt, cross your fingers, hell, cross your teeth. Well, you can uncross it. This thing actually came out. It's hard to believe, I know. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's supposed to be an entire head on bolts, correct? And they're supposed to be round. They have big chunks missing out of them. That thing just came out. And that's no PB blast and no heat. Wow. Okay. Bolt there. Window regulator with no teeth. Speaker grill actually seems to be intact. Although maybe more of a powder than a plastic anymore. Remains a rear dome light cover. Garbage. Look at that, that's an acorn. There's a fresh one. Oh, I forgot to show you guys my buddy Mickey here. Yeah. Little lizard. Mickey didn't make it. Okay. See if I can manage to pull this thing out of here, because it does look like he glued it in with something, but I don't know what. Like I said, this is home interior carpet that's been set over the old carpet remains and God knows what else. So let's see what we got here. Hey Mickey, I found your bottom jaw. All right. I don't think she's stuck too bad. The floor don't look pretty at all. I don't think she's stuck too bad. Oh, oh my. Yeah. That's not pretty at all. Oh man. I gotta tell you, if you guys have got a Wagoneer at home, and it's got leaky door seals, you need to go out right now and order up a door seal kit for it, because I'm going to show you what happens. Want to see what happens when you don't have good door seals? This. All this rust here, that is all from bad door seals letting water leak in. Well, this thing sat outside for the past 30 years under a tree. Yeah, that's what it does. So get yourself some good door seals. I know they're expensive, but what's more expensive, a set of door seals or having to replace all your floorboards? That's just my opinion. Alright, let's finish getting this carpet out of here. Let's see what all I'm dealing with instead of just that one spot. Oh, she's stuck there. But not bad. Okay. There's the remains of the old seat hanger. Back seat folded up, had these little rubber straps. One side was attached to the seat. You take and hook it right there off that post. One over here, I think it's just over there. You'd actually hook it on there. It was a little rubber strap, basically a primitive bungee cord. They even had fancy etching in them to make them look like they had stitching. They weren't really that fancy. All right. Around the four-wheel drive shifter. Yeah. Oh. All right. And it's full of garbage. Make sure I got Mickey all wrapped up here. Give him a proper barrel later. There's carpet gone. Her seatbelt cover. Ooh, it's squishy. Alright, let's get this sound deadener out of here. Well, it's still got the plastic caps. Why am I worried about trying to save those plastic caps? Somebody explain to me why I'm so stupid. Alright, let's go. Well, she's mighty squishy, but she's not terrible. Yet. Ah, seatbelt light's coming with me. Alright. Now the stuff is just disintegrating, except for where it's glued on. That feels thin. There, very thin. I have a lot of welding to do. There. That actually peeled off easy. Right, because there's no metal left behind it. That's all it is rust. I'm impressed with the amount of factory duct tape on these floors. Now, I'm not saying factory. This is not a vice grip garage term. I'm saying factory. I actually stuck the wires in place with chunks of fiber tape that, oddly enough, look exactly like duct tape. So, do with that information what you will. It's pretty much useless, but let's just say there at the end, AMC was pretty cheap. Hence why these things are rotted out like none other, because they use the most garbage steel I could find. That's why ones from 63 to 65 are in better condition for the most part than these from the late 70s into the early 80s. When Chrysler took them over, they kind of fixed it, but it was still bad. They were using a lot of parts that AMC already had on the shelf. Just trying to get the run finished out so they could bring out the Grand Cherokee to replace this thing. So this is what we're working with. Basically that whole floorboard, all the way up until you get to that seam there, I think is going to have to all be cut out. This seam, there's a ton of surface rust and pitting, but I think there's enough good metal to weld to. Transmission tunnel's the same way. Lots of surface rust, but there's enough to weld to. This stuff seems pretty solid. Back here, she's a little bouncy, a little flexy. Yeah, so that's gonna have to be cut out and redone. And this is all the way over to the door, where that pinch weld is. So yeah, that's gonna have to be replaced. And the driver's one isn't as bad, but still basically the same area's got to be replaced. So yeah, there's not really any rust on the outside body of this thing, but I'm telling you, bad door seals destroy the floors. After all that, this is where we are. Still need to take that trim panel off for the step, but she's rusty over here, but she's not terrible. There's definitely something to weld to, but definitely gotta be replaced. Back here is pretty crunchy, and I'm not sure what it is. I saw this when I was underneath the car. I'm just not sure. This is a bunch of plastic. It's like plastic sheeting that seems to be sitting underneath the fuel tank and wrapping around it. So I don't know if there's a leak in that fuel tank or what. I've got to drop it and see if I've got to put the fuel tank from the other one in there or not. Or on this side, yeah, she's crunchy. In the middle, meh, pretty good. Then up front, I found all the holes buried underneath those piles of rust. So next we move on to the wire brush segment of our show. Stick around. Alright, this is where we are with the floors. I just quickly ran the wire brush over all of it, knock all the big chunks off. See how nasty it is back there. It was really nice feeling having all those sparks flying into the top of the gas tank that might potentially have a leak, hence why it's got a giant piece of plastic surrounding it. But yeah, she cleaned up pretty good. Up here's not as bad as I thought it was, but it's still really squishy. I'm probably just going to cut it out and get a whole new pan replacement. I mean, if I've got to do all the way back to here, I might as well get that up there. It just makes sense. Definitely got to get the back seat floor pan all the way back on this side. This side, she gone, boys. There was nothing but Swiss cheese under those piles of rust. Knocked everything loose and it was gone. Back here is really bad too. Now when I got this, it was sitting in the back lot of a guy who owns a tree service. He had bought it and he was going to fix it up just enough to make it look nice and throw some badging on the side of it and put it at the corner like a sign for his business. And he never got around to it, so it sat under a tree there at his tree service lot for a long time. So long, in fact. Let me move my clean everything 2000 here. Sat there so long, the tree actually grew through it. I had to hack that out of there before I could even move the dang thing, and it grows all the way through. Sticks out the bottom of the bumper right there. That is tree. So it's sitting there under that grove of trees with basically no door seals or functioning window seals in it for that long. Is probably what killed these floorboards, because he had it, he said 11 years I think it was. It's a long time. So yeah, she wasn't happy. But I'm gonna vacuum all this out, get some rust fix sprayed on the metal just so it doesn't get any worse than it already is. And then I'll see you next time when we start cutting out sections and putting some floor pans in. Thanks a lot, guys. You have a good one.